I took over that time, sorry.
No, you're good. That's cool. Alright, so right off the bat, this week we're touching on religion, which isn't restricted to the religion you may be familiar with. We're talking about all kinds of religions around the world this week.
Some ones that we personally find interesting and want to talk to. I'm not religious, so it would be good to get some insight on some more obscure ones, maybe.
Right, and just as she stated, she's not religious. I am in contrast to that, in stark contrast to that, actually, a complete.
So, a slight change of plans for next week's podcast. We originally planned for next week's episodes to be Let's Get Spiritual, which is going to be covering manifestation,
shifting,
astrology, and shifting. However, a slight change of plans. Next week we're going to be releasing the bonus food episode. Instead, me and James have some stuff outside of the podcast that we want to work on. So that you guys aren't missing out on an episode, we're going to release the bonus episode then, and then just pick up the week after and extend a week onto the original season's plan. So if anything, you get more content out of us, just not in the original order that we intended it. So if it seems a little out of place with next week's episode, then you know why.
Yeah. I think it's a good step back anyway. We've been doing this pretty consistently for 8 weeks almost? This will be the 8th episode.
Mm-hmm.
So
more 9 weeks if you include the
bonus episode.
If you include the
Prelude.
Start of video,
right,
before we release our first ever episode.
Right, we've been in a pretty consistent schedule, which I'm happy with. We have not really there's been some instances
Discipline.
where discipline, responsibility. There's been some instances where we have been running behind on schedule, but we've easily caught back up on that, and
we've never missed an upload. And we don't intend to, which is why we intend to release this bonus episode in place of us not being able to record and edit properly next week.
Also,
because we are just that dedicated to you.
Right. And I just want to point out that I have my dogs in with me today, so
Heine and Tiny.
Right. The white one being Heine and the black one being Tiny. They're if you see them in the background, they're just my little companions for the day.
They're adorable.
Religions. Were there any that directly interest you? Like, one off the top of your head, what was one that directly caught your eye and just like...
Church of Satan.
The Church of Satan? Yeah, we talked a little bit about this one before we recorded, but
like, it's really interesting to look into, because when you look at the list that they have, and you can find it on their website and other websites that refer to the church, their rules don't seem that bad for a Satan worshipping religion. Like, I wouldn't disagree with any of the rules personally. Like, they are very moral, which surprises me, because obviously the depiction of Satan, like, he's the devil, he is everything bad and your darkest temptations and all of this. And so just the fact that they have an entire religion with, like, extreme, like, but well justified moral codes. For example, the 11 rules of Satanism, or the 11 satanic rules of Earth, are as follows. Do not give your opinion or advice unless you are asked. I agree with that. Some people need to learn how to shut their mouth sometimes.
I think a lot of people on Twitter need to learn to shut their fucking mouths.
Do not tell your troubles to others unless you are sure that they want to hear them. When in another's lair, or I guess just property, home, wherever.
Presence.
Show respect, or else do not go there. Which, like, you know, that's completely justified. Like, if you're gonna go to someone's house, don't disrespect them or their house. Like, seems like common sense. Do not make any sexual advances unless you are given the mating signal or consent.
Which is pretty much basic human decency right there. I mean...
The bare necessities, like, it's a must. It shouldn't be a privilege. Acknowledge the power of magic that you have employed. Acknowledge the power of magic if you have employed it successfully to obtain your desires. If you deny the power of magic after having called upon it with success, you will then lose all that you have obtained.
What power of magic are we? What power of magic are they implementing though? Like the dark arts, or like
I don't know. But like, also, like, I don't know if everyone should be able to obtain their desires. Some people have got some really fucked up desires, like...
Yeah, there are some people in this world that, they don't need that access. That's why, content creation is such a scary thing, because anybody can do it. With underlying...
And some people shouldn't be able to do it. Some people shouldn't have access to the internet.
We won't name names, but there are quite a few examples, big examples in our community that should not have access to a camera.
Do not take that of which does not belong to you unless it is a burden to the other person and he or she cries out for it to be relieved. So, like, you know, unless someone gives something to you, don't take other people's stuff. Seems pretty logical. Do not complain about anything to which you do not subject yourself. So, don't complain about shit that doesn't apply to you. Like, don't complain on behalf of other people. And I'm very much for that. Like, if you can't relate, you should not be talking on behalf of me. Full stop.
Yeah.
Don't harm little children. Fucking obvious. Do not kill non-human animals unless you are attacked or it is for food. Which, again, respectable. When walking into open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask him to stop. If he does not stop, destroy him. Maybe not the destroy him part, but, like, you know, they all seem like pretty telltale, like... Yeah. It says, word for word, when walking in open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask him to stop. If he does not stop, destroy him.
Fair enough.
But yeah, those are the 11 rules of the Church of Satan, which, like, in hindsight, really just, you know, they seem like common sense more than anything. So I'm not against it.
I wonder if there's something more deeper to it, like, not trying to, like...
Probably.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure for people who practice it, I'm sure it's a lot deeper. But, I mean, no, yeah, that just... Which surprises me because it may... In most places, it's usually depicted that Satan is the embodiment of evil, all things evil, which I guess we can really directly reply or in opposition to the laws of the 7 deadly sins, like lust, greed, murder, so forth and so on. I'm not going to name them.
I mean,
all,
he is meant to represent all of those, right?
Right, I'm pretty sure. So, which, depending on which religion you're from, I'm guessing that Satan is a prominent figure in most religions, assuming there. But
or at least some sort of depiction of an
evil figure,
bad evil figure.
Right. I'm assuming that's pretty much it's kind of. It almost doesn't make sense to me because of the story of Lucifer specifically depicts a fallen angel. So, like, how does one go from literal angel to, you know? So it would make sense in high, yo, you good? Stop, honey, hey.
The dogs are already causing trouble.
Yeah, it might not be the greatest idea. He's pissed off.
Heine,
yeah.
Is he in a bad mood? Oh,
I don't know. He's just uncomfortable, I guess.
He doesn't like the camera on him. He doesn't want the attention.
Him and my sister both.
Don't look at me.
No, but it's odd because, again, the story of Lucifer depicts a fallen angel. So how does one go from being the right-hand man of God or the right-hand man of the embodiment of the light to the direct embodiment of evil.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the inconsistency. Like, if I can take inconsistency with story when it comes to like Star Wars or something I enjoy, because I am one of those people who will directly take.
No way you just compared religion and Star Wars.
Look, I'm comparing the story. Okay, the story.
The plot line.
The plot. It has to be flawless for me to believe. No. That's extreme.
No continuity errors here.
There cannot be. I don't care if it's a mythological tale.
So it says here, the 9 satanic statements, and these originally appeared in the 1969 Satanic Bible.
There's a Satanic Bible?
Yeah, I might see how much it is. So, there's 9 statements. Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates? I don't know what that word is. Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Satan represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires. What? Satan represents man just as another animal, sometimes better, more often worse than those that walk on all fours, who, because of his divine, spiritual and intellectual development, has become the most vicious animal of all. Satan represents all of the so-called sins, as they all lead to physical, mental or emotional gratification. Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had. He keeps it in business all these years. Interesting. There's a really out there statement of just, yep.
Vengeance.
Satan's the church's best friend. He's been keeping them in business, keeping the business afloat, stopping them going bankrupt.
Just as a disclaimer, we have no intention of knocking or criticizing any religion that we talk about here, because there are plenty of them that just generally interest us. Like she stated, she was generally interested in this religion, and our joke making is in no type of criticism towards it.
Yeah, I mean, though I am not a religious person, I respect and appreciate and am in full support of everyone's religious freedom to express and, you know, follow the religion that they want to. I know for a lot of people it can be a very important thing. Some people need something to follow and enjoy having that kind of, I guess, discipline and higher meaning. So, you know, I get it. Just not for me. But complete respect to any and all religions and those that follow.
I think we talked about this before on the aliens episode, which has been a couple weeks now, but the fact of the matter that people need something to believe in to stay sane or something, I think.
$520 for a paperback version of this Bible.
Oh, I thought I said something wrong and got scared.
No, I just looked on Amazon for the Satanic Bible and it said $530, please.
Since, wow. I guess that's why not everybody has one then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, it may just be an American thing, but have you ever been in a parade? Have you ever been to a parade?
I went to Pride.
Oh, okay.
It was probably not the same, but it was a parade. We all walked.
Well, I'm guessing they're not handing out Bibles at the parade, at the Pride parade and stuff, so...
No.
See, during Christmas...
The opposite, if anything.
See, around Christmas here and Thanksgiving, which, well, yeah, Thanksgiving too, or just any festival we have, there's these, like, people of certain religions, whether that be the Baptist, the Methodist, and there's a whole bunch of different subtitles, but, they just walk around and hand people Bibles. There's these small little Bibles, and it's like of relevations because they're like all about preaching of the end of the world. They believe we're in the end times. Da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, here, take this book, and it's free. They won't let you not take it. It's almost like they won't let you not take it. It's like like at parades, you have people that hand you candy or toss candy out. These people walk with a bucket full of Bibles. I shit you not, like a gallon bucket of Bibles, and just hand them to you. Everybody they see.
See, we have like maybe not like we don't have like specific parades where these people accumulate, but like it's not uncommon to go into like a main city centre where all the shops are and the restaurants and everything, and to find someone with a microphone and an amp preaching. It usually varies in what they're preaching. This one time some guy tried to give me some spirituality book. I was worried there was a chip in it and he was going to follow me home, so I gave it to my friend. I was a lot younger when he gave it to me. It was a very terrifying experience, to be honest, because I don't like when people like stop me in the middle of the street when I'm trying to just like do my own thing, and they're like, oh, do you want this? And I'm like, no, I just want to go. Please leave me alone. Or like when they tell me that the world is ending and that I am gonna go to hell, and I'm like, yeah,
nice,
probably.
Cool. All right, so wait, hold on. You thought there was a chip in it, so you gave it to your friend?
Yeah, so like he seemed a bit sketchy, so I was thinking like, oh, he's probably put something in this book, and like I don't want it.
Is
so
your friend
I
alright?
just like, yeah, he's fine.
Okay, just making sure.
He still has a book. The guy never, you know.
Yeah.
If there was a chip in it, it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, weirdly enough, we don't have that around here. All right, so for some reason, do you remember? I think it has to do with some like religious, not cult, but like some type of I don't know what's going on, but there's some people that show up in our town. We live in a fairly small town, and there's people that are just showing up on the main street with signs about the end of the world. Like, he is coming. They're in black mask. You don't know who they are. You can't see their skin. You can't see their skin color. You can't see their face at all.
That's kind of scary, to be honest.
Yeah, they're standing here with
very
signs.
ominous as well.
Yeah, they're like on street sides holding up signs about the end of the world, Bible verses, scriptures. It's kind of like stuff like that would freak me out as a kid. I think I've talked about it before, but I was very terrified of the end of the world. So like, and being raised in a church really didn't help with that, because their whole thing is the end of the world could be anytime. Like, be sure to
be a good person and repent your sins.
Repent for your sins before it's too late. Yada yada yada. And not that like, again,
isn't repenting your sins a normal practice though that happens, or
but
does that vary on, like, I guess I don't want to say like strain of religion or like a branch of religion, but obviously like there's Catholicism, there's like Protestant, so there's so many like
there's Baptist,
avenues down like Christianity and stuff.
Right. It's common for it's common for people to are common for preachers to ask that you give your life to the Lord or whatever over here, and it's just, I don't know, it like keeps you in that mindset, I guess, for some that's what it feels like, but no, it just seems more strange than anything now. Not strange about the religion, but the people just showing up. Like, back then it would terrify me. Now it's just like, why now? Why here? Because that's something you would have happen in like a bigger city. When you were talking about people handing you stuff in New York, I cannot tell you how many people I've had approach me just handing me something. And like, back before the pandemic, when we used to go to we went to New York, and like during the main times, yes, we're that type of family that go to the most chaotic city in the States. In the most
popular times.
Yeah, we're that type of family. I can't tell you how many people were just giving away their mixtapes, their Bibles, or just some pamphlet to do with their business or brand.
A lot of buskers, I'm guessing, as well.
What?
Do you guys call them buskers? It's just like people that perform like music, and you can like just, you know,
okay, well,
give
it's
them
not
money for
buskers, but
we call it busking.
busking. No, it's more just like street performers. That's what we call them.
Yeah.
But over here, it's like on that exact time we went to New York, there was like a whole group of people dressed as the Teen Titans, which I think I might have a picture with them. Weirdly enough, because I'm a Teen Titans nerd. Because Raven,
I mean, hey, if I saw someone in Marvel cosplay, I probably would try to take a picture with them. Like if it was good cosplay, like hell yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like the amount of things you see on a New York street during those times blows my mind.
You should do like a bingo one day, like just put some really random things on there and then just tick them off when you see them.
Oh, that would be hilarious. Like
obscure New York bingo, and then just like a specific cosplay of a character.
Walk around the city.
And like a specific number of street performers and preachers.
Yeah, true. I don't know. We don't have that many like people preaching over here.
Maybe it's an English thing, because like they're usually like every Sunday you can go into the town centre and there will be people. Like it doesn't matter what. I've found it in the city closest to my hometown, the city here, which is like almost 2 hours from my hometown. The same.
Huh.
Other, like, there's a city 30 minutes from this one as well. The same there, too.
Okay.
Like, I think maybe it's just an English thing.
Why wouldn't... Are they trying to build a congregation in the street?
They're always different. Like, they're always talking about different things, though. But it's always different people each week as well.
Huh.
IRL it is
podcast.
Strange. Kind of, but nobody asked for it, and nobody's trying to listen.
If you're a normal human being, who's gonna stop on a nice Sunday afternoon and listen? You know, on the street in the hot.
I mean, sometimes there are people that really flock around, but most of the time they've just got their microphones obnoxiously loud that you don't need to stop to be able to hear them. You can keep walking for 10 minutes and you can still hear them.
Fair enough. I would almost feel like nervous doing that. Because I'm not good in front of a whole bunch of people anyway.
They must have like really, really good like
balls of steel,
confidence, and to be able to project themselves in front of that many people. Because like I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of people walking past.
Oh yeah, like think about like impressions on a tweet, like impressions in the real life. That's good God.
But they have to like see it live, you know.
Yeah.
You can hide behind a phone. You can't hide in public.
No.
Once you've said something like that, you know, they heard.
Oh no, yeah. If you say something out of line, it's all eyes on you then.
Sometimes I do like think about. I never do it because, personally, honestly, I am just too nervous to do it. But sometimes I want to go and talk to them because I would love to just debate them and just like share views.
Yeah.
But also because like they're spewing so much hate this, hate that, I feel like it would just be, I don't know, good to mess with them a little bit. It sounds bad, like not mess with them. I would never disrespect their religion, but like, you know, if they're gonna come at me, then.
Have you ever seen those TikToks where like a Democrat will get on the phone with a Republican and like try to have a debate with them?
No. It's
the most. I saw it the other day with a Trump supporter, and again, it had to be the most like. It was just hilarious because the person on the phone had no intention of debating. Mm-hmm. Like they were all I don't have to say it for you to understand, but
they really just didn't want to be there. They were like, get lost.
Yeah. It's like, why are you doing this? Like, because they didn't have a legitimate answer to anything that the guy was proposing, and it was hilarious in my opinion. But no, those are like such like secondhand embarrassment.
It is funny to watch.
Secondhand embarrassment is so strong for me. Sometimes I just can't even watch it. Like, I shy away from movies and shows where secondhand embarrassment is like a constant. I can't. Half those Disney shows, Girl Meets World, Austin and Ally,
I mean, they're cringe anyway. I'm not gonna lie. Like they're shit shows.
Yeah, like, I don't know. That's kind of why I gravitated towards Victorious, iCarly, like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. I gravitated more towards the like drama-related shows for some reason. I don't know.
I suppose you can't get secondhand embarrassment from drama.
I guess. I mean, unless like they're straight up clowning someone.
I was a Cartoon Network kid.
Oh my
Adventure
God.
Time, regular
Come
show.
on, grab your friends. Bro, regular show is still probably one of the best shows to come out of Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Easily one of their top 5.
Little man.
Oh my God. Give us your best Muscle Man impression. Go.
I don't know.
It doesn't sound half bad.
Good Rigby. I've not watched it in a long time, to be fair.
God, the way he would take his shirt off and swing it above his fucking head. Your mom. He's the reason for our dry sense of humor.
You're man.
God.
It was a good show.
Yeah. For sure.
But, I mean, you asked me about if there were any interesting religions, or any religions that I'm interested in. Are there any that you're particularly interested in? Because obviously you're religious, so
right.
For you, it's probably more of like I guess, an interesting thing to compare and contrast beliefs.
Right. Buddhism, I think it's called, is one that doesn't directly stick out to me, but I grew up really not involved, but like Billy Goat. I grew up. I think I've said this before, but the Asian culture was like heavy with like I like involved myself like a lot of the content and stuff I consumed was of the Asian. No, I mean I'm not gonna.
You had a big interest in Asian culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the samurai, once I started to learn more about them, I guess of their time, more or less, not practice, but had a general belief in Buddhism. Or Buddhism, is it? Or Buddhism? I think it's Buddhism.
I think, yeah.
But no, yeah, that's something I also looked into because they don't directly, it's not like something they directly do because of the way of the Bushido. I may be pronouncing that wrong. If I am, forgive me, but they don't directly believe, like, they believe they don't have a ticket into the afterlife because of the lifestyle they've taken on as samurai, which honestly not fascinates me, but I think it's so interesting, and I don't know how to put it other than that. It's to think the lifestyle you live not robs you, but takes away, I guess you would, that privilege for you is something interesting. How far someone will go to dedicate themselves to something like that too, as well, because it was a real
the fact
lifestyle.
that they were willing to take that risk and have their chance of the afterlife stripped.
Yep.
For the cause, it shows a lot of dedication and.
Because the samurai, they would take their own life. It was just another thing to do. Like if it came down to it, they broke the code. That was it. And I mean, learning about it as I've gotten older, it was like at first like a samurai. Oh my goodness, you know what I mean? Like as a kid, it's fascinating. It's like
people with swords and cool armor.
Right. As you grow older, you start to look beyond the armor, the sword, and to
realize it's more of a way of life than a role.
I've done that with a lot of things in life. Honestly, it's beautiful almost in the same sense. Like, not to say it wasn't, but to learn about the deeper aspect or deeper meaning of things, and then not compare, but just see how it's different. Because again, I grew up in the church, so things that may not have been considered normal to the church at the time, seeing them outside the church and developing a sense of normalcy to everything, or not to everything, but to those certain things, has been an interesting experience.
Attaching
sure.
your views and the church's views from your own views,
Yeah.
sort of. Yeah.
It almost feels betraying, but it not betraying, but at first it would feel betraying, but now it's just like I've learned to trust myself. I've learned
Yeah.
I can decipher what is right and wrong now. I think the last couple of years have been a real statement of that for me too, because if I compare myself 3 years ago to me now, we are two completely different people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never, like they say, never forget who you were, but at the same time, that person 3 years ago is not me now. You know what I mean? Two completely different people.
So, you said obviously about how, with the way the samurai, they feel or believe that their ticket to the afterlife has been robbed of them due to their way of life and the rules that they follow. What are your personal views on like the afterlife, heaven, hell, purgatory, everything in between? Like, do you think it's real? Do you think in reincarnation? Because I know some religions opt more for reincarnation than an afterlife.
Yeah, I believe Buddhism believes in the process of reincarnation, so that's a good point. My personal views is that I do believe there is an afterlife, a heaven or hell. Again, how to access that is, I mean, again, I guess being a good person is what I would answer with immediately, but then again, it's a part of the journey of finding it, because again, I have to realize it, I have to discover it again myself. So yeah, I do believe in a higher power. I do believe in a afterlife. It's just may not be in direct teaching of the church anymore, to be fair.
Right.
So yeah.
Have you had like any experiences with?
Oh yeah, there's been plenty of experiences. So when I was about 13, I was in a very bad car accident. I shouldn't have survived. And it's crazy because majority of everything, to put it into contrast or context, people listening, the car was completely totaled. The car flipped at least 3 times, rolled and slammed into
Where
the side
were
of a
you?
bank.
Back passenger seat?
Yeah, back passenger. I was too young. I hit my head and
Were you wearing a seatbelt?
Yeah. I hit the head on my. I think something
on
flew
the
up.
chair.
Something hit me in the head. Something in
Right.
the car hit me really hard. It was glass, and
Ooh.
thankfully it didn't break, so nothing was. And then nothing physically hurt me, but I was sore for about a couple weeks after that. It was very bad for sure, but
I'm sorry you had to experience that. That
No,
sounds terrifying.
I'm surprised it doesn't live on. I had really bad anxiety in cars, especially with it was just bad. But no, the most crazy thing is that my mom, and my sister all got out subconsciously holding our Bibles. It was like subconsciously. We were not aware what we were doing until like I don't remember anything until I was on the bank outside of the car.
Wow.
And I was holding my Bible. I was clenched onto that Bible, and
I mean, that was your body's initial response in shock, and it's insane. The first thing you grabbed was a Bible, like the 3 of you.
Yeah, I get goosebumps still thinking about it. And then there's been plenty of instances where I felt something come over me to talk to God. I guess you would put it in the context that may sound odd to some people, but there has been instances where prayer or speaking to the higher power has in turn helped me see clearer, and I think
and get the answers that you were looking for.
Right. I think another thing which maybe I shouldn't mention, and if
we can cut it out if you decide.
I'll be all good. My mom was in a very bad car accident when she was 18, and they told her she would never have children, and, well, here I am. So, it's very...
And you have a sister.
Yeah. They told her she would never be pregnant, and, well, she had both of us. She died on the scene of that car accident, which was brought back and had 2 healthy children, which was not expected. So,
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm here by a miracle, which is insane to me. It's more of like an anchor to me. Like, you're a blessing. There's a purpose.
100%.
It's that anchor for me, pretty much.
I mean, it shows how important it is for you to be here and how blessed we are to have you. The fact that you have, overcome so many almost impossible obstacles to overcome.
I'm very fortunate for where I'm at now, and not only speaking in sense of my life or being here, it's just where I'm at now, even sitting behind this desk, because of the things I've had to go through because of my dad. So
yeah,
which is a story for another day. But
well, we're glad to have you. We're glad that you are here, and thank you for sharing. By the way, I think that's it. It is fascinating though. Just how obviously there are loads of experiences where like a time of either close to death or like a time of extreme desperation that these people do have these experiences or encounters with some form of higher being, or that they are being watched over by some sort of guardian angel. I personally have never had any experience like that. Probably more of something to be fortunate of than anything. If I do, like, I'm not completely closed over to the idea of like heaven and hell, because I don't know, like there's no way to prove to me that it exists until I get to that point in my life. I die and then I'll either see it or I won't. Like I'll find out when I die, but then it's not like I can tell anyone afterwards like, yo, it's real, be careful. But like, I was like kind of agnostic, then atheist, then agnostic, and I'm kind of just like, not in a sense of I don't care, but more in a sense of like, I don't believe it because there's nothing that proves to me that like that it's real, and I don't have any personal affinity of like having not a need but a desire to believe in this sort of higher being to be in control of like my entire destiny. Like I would like to think that I'm the one in control behind the steering wheel here, but I'm also like, if it's real, I'll eat my words and I'll say that you were right. Like I'm not gonna completely say, well, it's not real and it can never be real, but also I can understand kind of like some of the flaws, because, or not the flaws, but like one thing for me is like the Bible is a sort of translation of a translation of a translation. So was it actually translated right? Every religion has different versions in some way. Like they're all kind of, or not all of them, but some are kind of similar in their followings, their teachings, and their initial beliefs. But then some are very, very different, which makes me think like, so many, I don't want to say continuity errors, but
here we go.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, it's like I'm not no, but I'm also not yes. Like, definitely. I'm not agnostic because I don't personally believe in it right now, but like I also wouldn't say completely no, because like unless I have an experience, like I'm never gonna know. Fair
enough. I've been fortunate enough, like, my parents were good about, they didn't directly project it on us. I mean, they took us to church since we were kids or whatever, but we were encouraged to accept the Lord as our Savior on our own. That was something we did personally. Like, our relationship with God was done with us personally. It wasn't anything they forced us into doing. So I don't have that, toxic, I don't guess I could say, maybe not toxic, but forced on opinion of things, you know what I mean? That
you were able to get them in your own time the way you wanted to.
Right. So like, I'm very fortunate in that aspect, which I know some people aren't, and it can be very confusing, or it can even push people away from it, which is understandable because that's not fair to them.
100%. I mean, did you grow up going to a religious school? Do they have those in America? Because my primary school was was a Church of England school, so it was a religious school. Like, when we had our daily, like, I guess, I want to say assembly, basically, we would all kind of, this could sound really weird, we'd sit on the floor, cross-legged, in rows, usually by class. Sometimes, if the teachers were feeling like a real asshole, it would be boy, girl, so that you couldn't talk to your mates.
Wow.
But I was always friends with boys, so that wasn't a problem. And we would sing hymns, and sometimes they would have the guy, the vicar from the local church over to, like, talk to us about stuff. And I just never really took it in or cared for it much. Like, they, you know, like, I sang the hymn sometimes, but that's more because they made us do it. Like, the amount of times they would be like, sing it on your own because you're not singing it in front of, like, 300 kids.
Oh my god. That would be that would be traumatizing.
10 classes of 30 kids.
Oh my god, no.
Yeah.
So over here it's
and all the teachers.
Ugh. How big was the school?
Oh, it was big, yeah.
Like, was that all the kids, 300? All 300 was the school?
No.
Or?
No. There's probably, like, close
That's
to...
a high school over here, bro?
The schools are big here, bro. I like... There's... I want to say... There was probably, like... Close to... In my high school, there was, like... I want to say 10 classes of 30.
Huh.
So about 30 kids. So about 300 kids in each year group.
Oh my
and there was
goodness.
about 5 year groups. So, I mean, we're talking like 2,000 kids?
No way. Hold on.
I think, maybe.
500's a lot for our high school, dude. What? You're joking. That's insane. No. Hold on.
I think my measurements could be very, very wrong here. I was very bad at maths, so I'm not the person to be asking for this.
Oh my god. Well, okay, over here it's a little different because we have public schools and then private schools. Mm-hmm. So private schools is majority of where you'll find the religion involved, because over here in public schools we used to have Bible readings in our school, I think, and cursive handwriting, and they have since forth removed those from public schools, which, I mean, it's not a total bad thing in hindsight thinking of it now, but compared to our adults, I do think cursive writing should be something taught, because if it's required, they should be the ones to help teach it. But as for the Bible teachings and stuff goes, that should be something I think you do on your own time. Like I said, I think it's better not to project just one type. If you're gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, apparently my numbers are very, very off here. So, there is around, I think, 686 or like close to 1,000 as an average size of secondary schools. Obviously, bigger the school, or I guess the less amount of schools in the area, the more students in one school. So there were a fair amount of kids at my school.
Good lord, I wouldn't even want to go. I found myself,
but about 300 kids in a primary school.
Okay.
Which is like junior school for you guys.
What, junior school
like elementary, junior, in
okay.
the same kind of, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's crazy, though, thinking of it, because there's times I've been tempted to go into public schools, majorly because I thought, I don't know, I guess to experience some sense of normalcy. I do that in air quotations, because honestly, I'm glad I didn't, but...
Yeah. You would be a different person, I would
definitely
say.
If I were raised in the public schools, it may have been a blessing and a curse, but because of the schools we have over here, I would probably be more aware of things I should have been aware of growing up, like problems in our world, some things that just aren't okay, and things that should be normalized, I would gain it in that aspect. But the way I was raised at home, like when that comes to my manners, how I act, how I talk, it's usually I would be a completely different person, just as you said.
Yeah.
So no, but the thought of going to a public school with like 500 kids terrify me. But if there was like anywhere from even just to 1,000 kids, that would just
It's worse when you got to perform in front of them, which
Oh my
I
God.
almost passed out from. So I was in year 10,
Right.
so I would have been 15. And it was the first year of me doing music as like as a GCSE, which here is kind of like you get to pick what classes you take in your final 2 years, and
Right.
those are the ones that you get tested on, etc., etc., so that you don't have to do every single subject. So you have like the core subjects that every single student is required to do, which is English, maths, science, religious studies, and it was physical education, but that then became not necessary towards the end. I feel like I'm
PE?
missing one. Yeah.
PE is mandatory all the way until we graduate.
See, I didn't do PE for the last 2 years of school,
Lucky.
luckily. Yeah. I chose music, health and social care, and history on top. And one of our, I guess, assignments for music was to kind of try and accumulate a set list, practice between your bands, and perform it in the end of year big
That's right. You
concert
said you had
that
a
we
band
have.
before.
I have been in, well, technically I've been in 2 bands.
Let's hear about it. Let's hear about it. I'm
So
interested.
the first one, which was like the longest running one, that was the one that I started and ended in,
Right.
was Year Zero, which was with Year Zero. That was the name.
I like it. I like
yeah.
it.
We were a rock band. We played like Royal Blood, like a bunch of stuff, you know. Anything that I could really go ham on the drums on, I was all for.
Oh my goodness.
But it sort of flopped because one of our lead singer and guitarist had a medical condition called CFS, chronic fatigue syndrome, for those of you that don't know, and it is a chronic illness that means that you get tired a lot more easier. It's an autoimmune disease, so you get sick a lot quicker. You just generally, you know, you're not as healthy as you should be, and so it means that you can't always come into school.
Right.
We were very, very accommodating to that fact. Or at least I was. My other bandmate, who was our bassist, was a little bit of a pain in the arse because took the opportunity of my other teammate or other bandmate not coming in to then just not practice. So then I was the only one that ever practiced, and so we didn't have anything. We did have one song, and it was shit because it was just a song that like nobody wanted to hear. So when they announced what song we were playing in front of the whole crowd, they went,
Oh no.
They literally, like, they fucking shamed us before we'd even started playing. So then I was there. It was like the winter, so I was wearing this cardigan, my school shirt with my tie, and I was sweating because the lights were directly on me, like, because we were in art school, we had a big ass stage, nice equipment, fancy lights, like the whole shebang, and I thought I was going to pass out midway through the song. It was so
That's
embarrassing.
terrible.
The song we were going to perform, or that we performed, was Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes.
No chance.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I was like playing it. We sounded awful. They ended up clapping, but probably only out of politeness. But I had to play that in front of, I want to say, like, at least 300 kids.
I'm not good. All right, Seven Nation
Plus,
Army is not a
probably,
bad
like,
song.
30
You know what I mean? That's
teachers.
a great pick. But I couldn't imagine the pressure.
It was horrid. It was the worst. It was the only time I've ever gotten like stage fright, because like I've performed in plays before, I've sang in front of people, like when I was in year 3, so I was probably like I want to say
8?
Yeah, like 7, 8. I played the little fir tree in our Christmas play, and it was a little fir tree, the runt tree of the pack, I guess, that never got picked to be put up. And so I had a solo, and it was like All Alone, and I had to sing it in front of like all these people, and I was like 8, but I loved it. I was great at it. I always loved performing. And
you're like a Charlie Brown tree. You're like a Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah, basically. One of my parents, either my mum or my dad, has the video of it, like the DVD of it, and I want to find it because I want to turn it into something that I can put on my computer because I want to use it for content.
Oh, yeah. You have a DVD scanner? You'll probably need it if you don't have a DVD drive.
I think Corey has one on his PC, or Mark might. Yeah. But yeah, that experience was more terrifying than 8-year-old me singing in front of a bunch of kids and adults and stuff.
Had to be.
It wasn't that bad. It was just the feeling of like, I'm sweltering in this heat. I feel like I'm going to pass out, because that would have been the worst bit. Passing out on a drum kit, flopping on a drum kit in front of hundreds of kids.
Boom.
And my teachers.
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't have been the move. And then the other band was, we never had a name, but they played the worst music for my kind. So I didn't even get to play drums that much. My instrument is drums. They made me sit on a cajon. Do you know what a cajon is? It's a box, to be honest.
How do you spell it?
Kajon. And it's a box, and you just hit it, and each part of the box sounds different. So obviously, like, the more lower down you hit, the more bassy it sounds. The top of it sounds more like a snare. Then you have the sides that you can tap, and the outer rim, and all that sort of stuff. So like, it's a percussion set in a box, basically. But it was horrid to play because they made me play, in all honesty, pussy music. I wanted to play rock, and they were out here making me play Riptide.
Oh, okay. So you really had...
Take me down to the Riptide. No, I don't want to play this. And then I ended up going back to the other band because I just couldn't handle it anymore.
Did you guys have a better second run?
No, we didn't even get to perform that time. Oh, it got worse in the second run because the person then just stopped turning up to school, the sick person. Oh. So then the other person just never practiced. So then I had to, like, our final piece was to perform. We were late to doing it. We had to get someone to sing for us because our guitarist and singer wouldn't come in, and our bassist was useless because she didn't practice. Because she was lazy, to be honest. She was lazy. And she wouldn't do it, and all she would do is sit and complain, and it really annoyed me because, like, music for me was my favourite lesson of all of the lessons. Yeah, right. It was kind of like a mess around lesson where I didn't really have to do much, and I got to sit around a drum kit for hours and just have fun. But it was also like, I wanted to be able to perform. Like, I wanted to be able to show off my music because I love performing anyway, but I also love making music and playing drums. And so it kind of got robbed of me a little bit, you know, because these other people got to perform in a cafe in our town in front of a bunch of, like, parents and other students. Like, it was a genuine venue.
Right.
And we were one of the only groups to not perform in it because we weren't ready.
That's sad.
That's awful. I wanted to. I really wanted to.
Huh. That's crazy.
So yeah, band not fun. Would I do it again a third time though? Like, if I got a drum kit, or at least an electronic one that I could, like, you know, fold and put away, I'd do it again. I'd join a band.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. My cousin she drummed, or what would you call it? She played drums.
She was a drummer. She played drums.
Yeah.
She hit shit.
Yeah, she let me play on her drum. There was one thing from my childhood. There was no better memory of me going to my aunt's house, playing Mario Kart with she was my older cousin, like my literal best friend growing up. She let me play her drums. She let me play on her Wii. I have all my Nintendo consoles because of her.
Wow.
Playing Mario Kart, any Mario game with her, like, and playing her drums. I had a little drum set that I got for Christmas when I was about 8 or 8 or 9, and I would bang the shit out of it. Like, no tune, nothing, just bang the shit out of it. And it
just enjoy hitting it.
Yep. It was the most fun thing. I was so sad when I outgrew it, man. I still have the little seat we use as a stool.
Damn. See, that's kind of like me with my aunt. Instead of the Wii, though, her boyfriend, now husband, had an Xbox 360, and
Really?
so I would go over, and if he was there, I would 1v1 him on table tennis, but he always won. It was really difficult, but he never let me win, which, like, I did kind of appreciate, because, yeah, I didn't want to be let to win. I wanted to win. I wanted to earn that. So, yeah. But yeah, it was fun. I would go over, play her drum kit, and then, like, she'd show me her guinea pigs for a bit, and then I'd play table tennis on the Xbox, and yeah, it was great.
I having that experience shapes us more than I think we realize in life. Like, if it's something in our mind, or just, I know I talk about a lot about the subconscious, but just how it affects us as we live on, you know?
Yeah, I mean, completely unrelated, but one thing I do think about sometimes, like, if I'm doing a karaoke stream, sometimes I think back to, like, Christmases when I was younger, because in the instances where we were at my dad's side of the family's house, we would be at my I call her my nanny, so we would be at my grandparents' house. My aunt and uncle would be there, or, well, at the time it was just my aunt and her boyfriend. Then my other aunt and uncle would be there with their 2 kids. And, like, they were, like, my closest cousins at the time, and we would all play SingStar on the PlayStation together and just sing on a Christmas and do duets, and it was great. And I haven't done that in a very long time.
See, some things are good as a constant, but having those things that you can cherish, that you can't really often go back to, I think is super important. Like, that would be a cool thing to return to one day, I think. That, like, you know, just like one time, just, you know?
Yeah. Or at least, like, if I, you know, when I eventually return home and am able to be a lot more involved again in my younger cousins' lives, more than I currently am being away from home, you know, I want to try and give that to them that my older cousins gave to me, because I don't really have a relationship with them anymore. Family squabbles kind of drifted everyone apart, and I don't want that for them, you know? Like, it kind of sucked, because they were, like, I always looked up to them because I didn't have siblings, so they were, like, the cool older cousins that were, like, I was in primary school and they were in secondary school, and it was always just so much fun when they were around. And then, I mean, one of them I haven't seen in at least, like, probably, like, 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe a little bit less than that, but yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, hopefully you're able to do that for them. Yeah.
That's the hope.
That's the hope. Here we go off on a tangent, huh?
I know, it always happens. But luckily it was like an hour in this time, so...
Yeah. I mean, hey. I don't know. I think, shoot. I don't mind those. You know?
Tangents?
Yeah.
Nah, we like a good tangent every now and again. So, back onto the topic of religion. Another one that I wanted to touch on, because I just personally find it very, very interesting, because it is very much unlike any other religion out there, and that is the Church of Scientology.
Right. You mentioned this to me before.
Mm-hmm.
See, my mom looked into it a lot. Not to practice or anything, but
Just out of curiosity.
yeah, we had someone who brought it up to my mom, and it piqued interest for her to look into and see if it were like real or whatever. And sure enough, she fell down the rabbit hole on this one. So there is quite it's a whole thing. I don't even know much about it myself. Have you looked into it, studied it, or?
So what I initially, before today's episode, really only knew was that was told to me by good old reliable South Park. So pretty much that Tom Cruise is in it and John Travolta. And that's about it.
Tom Cruise? Hold on.
Yeah.
Huh.
He is a big advocate and a big spokesperson for the Church of Scientology. He believes that the Church of Scientology is the leading authority on the mind.
Interesting. What's its basis? Like, what's their practice? I'm curious. I don't know very much about it. I looked into it a little bit. I don't really remember much about it though.
So the base sort of viewpoints on Scientology, so Scientology was developed by L. Ron Hubbard. Scientology is a religion that often offers a precise path leading to a complete and certain understanding of one's true spiritual nature and one's relationship to themselves, family, groups, mankind, and life forms.
Isn't it that they believe that we're immortal or something?
Yeah, so it says here their primary beliefs that comprise of body knowledge and certain fundamental truths is that man is an immortal spiritual being, his experiences exceed well beyond a single lifetime, and his capabilities are unlimited, even if not presently realised.
Interesting.
And basically holds man, Scientology further holds man to be basically good, and that his spiritual salvation depends upon himself, his fellows, and his attainment of brotherhood with the universe. So, what are the principles of Scientology? Please don't make me watch a video. I'm not that interested. Oh, yeah, it is trying to make me watch a video. No.
I do know it to be very complex.
Yeah, the ultimate goal of Scientology is true spiritual enlightenment and freedom for all. Follows a long tradition of religious practices. 50,000 years ago.
50,000?
It draws on wisdoms, on the wisdoms of some 50,000 years ago. Scientology is a new religion, but when was it actually founded? Because I know that it was quite a while ago. December of 1953.
1953? Just camps, like actual camps for oh no.
What kind of camps?
See, I don't know. There's a whole documentary series about it. I forgot the actress' name, but she did a whole series on it. She's a game show host now, but
Oh.
Yeah, kind of a turn, but she did a whole series about Scientology. It's very informative, but it paints it in a different light. So, again, I think the series is more directed to paint it in a negative light.
It's banned in Germany, the entire religion.
Huh. So, like I said, take that with a grain of salt as you will. I didn't watch the series, but I was made aware of it. So, no, but it's deep. It's very deep. I'm not sure.
Is it called The Hole? Not the documentary, the camp.
I'm not quite sure.
I googled Scientology camps and it came up with the facility known as The Hole is located on the Church of Scientology's gold base.
That may be what it was. I'm not quite certain myself, though.
It is international headquarters for the Church of Scientology, so it's probably not.
No.
Prison camp?
What?
Scientology prison camp? Oh.
If you don't end up finding nothing, you can cut what I said, but
No, apparently The Hole is actually a prison camp.
Wow.
Ex-Scientology member sexually abused and sent to prison camps with pedos aged just 11.
Jeez.
Shocking. Yeah, it's just coming up with a lot of shit on child labour, child abuse.
I know there was controversy behind the religion.
Germany really don't like it, though. The German government does not recognise the Church of Scientology as a religion. Rather, it views it as a abusive business masquerading as a religion and believes that it pursues political goals that conflict with the values enshrined in the German constitution.
Fair enough. So, I was going to mention this on our cults episode, and since we're kind of getting in that, not that territory, but
the more extreme side of religion.
Yeah, the more extreme sides of practices. Not that I've experienced them, but oddly enough, the church I grew up in is considered a cult. It's called Thomas Road Baptist Church.
Really just calling him out like that.
I mean, should I not? I mean, look.
I'm all for it.
I never experienced any weird or extreme practices while going to the church. In fact, a majority of the people over there were very nice to me. It's been a long time since we've been, but like I'm talking like 9 years maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but maybe longer or shorter.
Maybe they've only just recently converted to a cult.
Something maybe, but yeah, no, it was really tied in with the school. The church was really tied in with the school, and they pushed this whole. It was a really good environment when I was there, but oddly enough, I was doing research for the cults episode. It was considered a cult, so
yeah, you were quite shocked to see that appear in a cult list, weren't you?
Yeah, because again, like I said, I never experienced anything extreme other than the breaking of bread and the sharing of wine, which was grape juice.
But I mean, that's a common practice in churches, regardless.
Yeah. And then baptism, where you get baptized by a preacher, which we were, but again, nothing to the extreme. So
that happens here too. Like,
yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't look too much into it, but it was quite interesting. You
know, I did not mean to yawn when I was saying that. What I was going to say is you never know what happens behind closed doors.
Very
Maybe
true.
They're just very good at hiding it.
Ironically enough, see, the headmaster of the school and the pastor of the church are brothers, and the headmaster of the school was fired for, I think, sexual assault. So, it's really hard to tell what goes on behind the scenes of places. So, my mom attended the school, and I had one day planned to attend the school. Probably not anymore, but no, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah, it's odd enough, which I guess maybe this isn't a red flag, but they do kind of celebrate Halloween. Which...
In what way? Like, what do they do?
Like, I have a trunk or treat, which... In Christianity, Halloween is the day of the Devil's Day, is what they call it. Mm-hmm. So, it was odd that they held even an event or recognized the holiday. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying that anybody in the religion shouldn't take their kids out and go trick-or-treating. We went trick-or-treating every year until I was 14 or 15. And, yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. It was interesting to me. It caught me off guard for sure.
See, I didn't trick or treat for the first time until I was maybe like 14, 15.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up in like a residential neighborhood, so like I lived on a busy street. Opposite me was a grocery store. I lived in I guess you guys would call them apartments above. It was a laundrette, then turned into a hairdressing salon. And so there wasn't really areas for me to go trick-or-treating around anyway. But also like stranger danger was a big thing, you know, made aware to me by my parents, gratefully so, obviously.
Right.
But it also meant that I didn't have the experience of like going around trick-or-treating. I've done it once in my life. I was a zombie.
Really?
Yeah.
From what, COD?
No, just a zombie. Just in general. Yeah. But in all fairness, we don't celebrate Halloween quite as much as you guys do. Like, it's not uncommon for the streets to just be filled with kids in costumes going door to door to door of like all of the houses. That sort of stuff doesn't happen here.
Fair enough.
And it's not uncommon for people on Halloween to specifically try and act like they're not home, so they don't have to give candy to people. Guilty. Oops.
Oh well.
There have been occasions at my dad's, because he lives in a more residential area, and so like sometimes there'll be kids that knock on the door on Halloween. Some instances will just turn all the house lights off and not answer the door, because then they'll just think that we're not in. Other occasions he felt bad and he gave them he gave them this chocolate covered plum sweet from Poland, and he gave it to them because he didn't like them. I think that's why. But it was like just a random like Polish sweets that he got given from a Polish friend at work.
That's like going to somebody.
So he gave it to the kids.
Over here, there's notorious houses for like getting either bad or good candy. Like they're not going to directly
like
give you
box of
rocks.
Raisins kind of thing.
Exactly. Okay, but there is this one time growing up that we went to a house that we lived. That was a house right below us, and they were so unprepared for Halloween. Like we wouldn't stand there and knock on the door, but we knocked once. They came in the doors like, "Who is it?" They weren't celebrating Halloween. They didn't have candy prepared, and they're like, "Trick or treat," and they're like, they felt bad. They gave us each a bag of chips. Like, it was just me and my sister. They gave us a whole bag of freaking chips.
Like a big bagger.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Do you know what? I would be happier with that than a chocolate bar.
I mean, honestly.
That's a better quality.
And then, again, it was with, shoot, what was it? There's this one house. Okay, so we have this big hill. Our town is notorious for the hills we live on. And it's like a freaking 60 degrees incline type of thing. It's tough to walk up. And if you made it to the top, as a reward, ironically enough, the headmaster of the Mormons, the Church of the Mormons, lived up there. So it was a party house.
Hang on. The head guy of the Mormon church was the
Mormons
party
have told
house.
us, yeah, we had Mormons come to our house and tell stories of them partying.
What?
Yeah.
See, I knew a kid, well, not a kid. There was a guy who I went to college with. His name was Jonathan. He was very, very lovely, very, very sweet. From South Africa. He was a Mormon, and he had a very, very I guess I don't want to say strict upbringing, but no booze, no caffeine. He's in Russia, I think, right now doing his missionary work, which is interesting to look at and get updated on Facebook and stuff. It looks very cool.
Yeah. No, yeah, if you made it to, no, not to cut you off, but if you made it up to the top of the hill, they gave you a literal full candy bar. Like, it's not like these little cheap ass.
The big bars, like a big ass bar of Hershey's.
And every year was something different, but you had to get there early.
To get the good stuff.
Yeah, to get the good stuff. Mm-hmm. So one year was Hershey's. One year was these big ass Reese cups. The next year it was a big Twix bar. Like super worthy stuff of walking that hill. But in these hot ass costumes, always dress in something demonic. I don't know why. I didn't sell my soul, okay?
Maybe I should get you that book of Satan.
No. My mom would throw me out of the house.
She'd throw the book out the house.
And just have that show up at the door and somebody else go, what the fuck is this? Don't worry about it. No.
Why has Heather sent you a Bible of Satan?
Exactly. No, yeah. There was those houses, like, that was the good house, and then there were the dud houses at the bottom of the hill. It's like, eh. And then we had this one house. They would put on a play every year. Every year they put on a play from a movie. It was A Wizard of Oz. Old classical movies. Like, they did up really well. It was super invested. And, sadly, they don't do it anymore because of COVID. Fuck you, COVID.
Yeah.
But even if you weren't trick-or-treating, that was something fun to go experience.
I would love the concept of, like, adult trick-or-treating for little bottles of booze.
Oh my god, that would be
I think that'd be
fun.
Funny. Or, like, trick-or-treating in a bar, you know? Like, trying to set that up or something. Like,
see,
where
public
it's an
indecency is a
event.
charge over here. So if you get drunk, if you're drunk or if you're drinking and you go out, you're not exempt from being arrested. Like, you can be arrested for having a drink and walking out in the street.
Yeah, see, you're not allowed to, like, drink in public here. Well, unless it's, like, designated outdoor areas where they have permits for drinking outside. But, like, I couldn't just... I have done it. I did once walk to my friend's house chugging a bottle of cider because I couldn't wait to catch up. I needed to catch up on the walk to theirs.
Had to match the energy.
Exactly, because I knew what the energy would be walking into it, and I was nowhere near on that level yet. They had started drinking 2 hours ago because I didn't live there. So I was then getting ready by myself. I realised I had to catch up in drinks before I went, so I was like, yeah, screw it. It's dark, I'll hide it. Cop car drove past me, so I hid it in my sleeve.
Oh, wait,
It was not pleasant.
So
at one point I thought I'd have to just chuck the bottle in a bush because I was worried I was going to get caught with it, but I ended up finishing the bottle and was able to put it in a bin.
Not admitting I have, however, have you ever been in a car have you ever hit a sign with a bottle?
What?
A road sign with a bottle.
Hit a road sign with a bottle?
Like, yeah, you're on the road.
What, as in you're in a car and you just...
I'm not admitting I have, but it's an experience trying to hit the road sign with a glass bottle.
Oh. The driver wasn't drinking, were they?
No.
No, good.
No.
You've never gotten in a car with a drunk person, have you?
I have, but I was a kid, so, like, I can't really...
okay.
It literally wasn't... And plus, like, sometimes if we would float the river, my dad was coming back, like, my dad was... It's not an excuse, but my dad he could handle his alcohol well unless it was liquor. So, like, if it was, like, one beer from a function, we were good.
Well, I think you have to hit a certain limit before you're deemed unable to drive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So... It's like a certain amount of drinks before you hit that, like, on the breathalyzer, usually.
Right, for it to affect him. My dad was a funny drinker, though, I will admit. My dad was hilarious when he drank. I don't know what it was. I was going to make a dad joke there, but it's not the place, it's not the time. Ah, man. One day. I'll do it on the podcast one day. Yeah, we have been recording for an hour and a half.
We have.
Is there anything else you want to touch on that now that we've talked quite a bit about the different religions and their practices?
No, I feel like we've covered everything that, like, at least I want to cover. Obviously, I know to those of you that are watching at home, we didn't really cover over the more mainstream, popularly followed religions such as Christianity, Catholicism,
Buddhism. Well, we talked about it.
I mean, that's a lot less common on like Judaism and Islam and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, maybe at some point we'll revisit and talk about those. But for now, we kind of wanted to just talk about those that are a little less close to home and are something that we want to learn about, so that it's both a learning experience for us and you guys. Keep it a little bit interesting and on our toes.
Yeah. With all that being said, if you're new or returning, be sure to subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to see more podcasts, be sure to check out our Spotify and our Twitter, where you can find more episodes, more content, and more behind the scenes stuff from us. Be sure to like the video. Any and all feedback is appreciated, as we are still forming our podcast and stuff, just getting into the feel of things. And yeah, like we said, we will be taking a week hiatus next week. You'll be getting a bonus episode that we previously had recorded. But we will be back in full-fledged the week right after. You can expect
following
new episodes
on with the topics that we have on our
our list, on our planner.
Also, if you have any friends, dogs, cats, goldfish, teachers, driving instructors, or loved ones that might enjoy this podcast, we would greatly appreciate it. Don't be afraid to share this out.
Yeah.
Share it with a friend. But
For sure. Yeah. With all that being said, we thank you for joining us this week, and we will see you next week.